With the full release of Baldur's Gate 3 inching closer, I feel it is important to go over a concept that not all may be familiar with, especially in gaming if you are new to Dungeons & Dragons. The concept is failing is good. Why would I say such a thing? Isn't the point of gaming to succeed? Yes, I would agree with that statement, but in response, I would ask, who said failing meant not succeeding? Let's dive in and look at this concept a little closer. Merriam-Webster defines failure as a usually slight or insignificant defect in character, conduct, or ability. They're wrong. Well, when it comes to D&D anyway, they're wrong. This definition implies an ending, that there is failure and nothing else. But the actions you take in D&D and in real life are never that simple. We do not exist in a vacuum, and we do not play in a vacuum. Just because a roll has failed does not mean something has been done incorrectly. There is no shortcoming or defect or lack of ability. Your rogue with plus 15 sleight of hand can still fail to pick locks. That doesn't mean they have failed. It means it is time to find a new mindset for how to approach these situations. It can be a difficult mindset to get into. When you see the roll happen and the number isn't big enough to meet the check and the game says failure, it seems to be that simple. Nope, you lost, the game won. But that's not what it means in D&D. It means no, you need to find a different method. This adds to your story. It does not detract from it. Failure is an end. In D&D, you cannot fail, unless your entire party dies. Then it's time to reload a save. With countless abilities, items, spells, and other shenanigans, you could take a different path forward. Remember, Larian made this game to react to your character, which includes not succeeding every check. Let the game tell your character's story. As a disclaimer, before going any further into more specific examples, if you find enjoyment in the game by reloading and ensuring you get the outcome you desire, that's great. You make those saves and reload them as much as you want, and don't let anyone tell you differently. The point of this video is not to tell you to change your mind or wag my finger at you for playing quote-unquote the wrong way. It is simply here to tell you that there are many ways to look at this game, and if you give them a try, you may find that you enjoy them. It may be a natural reaction that failing in any capacity is bad, as that is how most games are played. You either succeed or fail, but that's not how Baldur's Gate 3 is designed to be, because the world of Dungeons & Dragons is not that simple. There is no single path to the end of the game. There is no correct way to do things. Let's look at some specific examples. You have a 4-person party with terrible strength scores. There's a chest on a ledge above you, and you know that this chest has a map in it that will show you where all the traps in this dungeon are. None of your characters can make the jump to access the chest. Their strength is simply too low. This could be considered a failure. Your party simply isn't equipped for this task, and you will have to make do. No. Wrong. Not the correct mindset. Remember, you cannot fail. You must simply readjust. Do you have the jump spell? Do you have a potion of strength? Can you stack boxes to make a makeshift staircase? Do not let the dice tell you you cannot complete a goal. The dice can tell you that a certain method will not work, but it cannot tell you that you have failed. And let's say you have no way to reach this chest. Does this stop you from your quest? Does this mean your party has failed their objective? No, of course not. It just means you will have to find another way to deal with the traps other than the map telling you where they are. This is the key takeaway. There are objective goals you need to attain, but the paths to that goal can be accomplished in different ways, and failing a certain method doesn't necessarily mean that you, as a player, have failed. This is a role-playing game, not a roll and succeed at everything game. Setbacks and obstacles are what make our heroes heroes. Now, this has been one small example of a possible situation, but let's look at some others where embracing this mindset may be more difficult. Dialogue. Look, we've all been there. You really want to persuade this guard to let you go. Yeah, you killed the thief, but he deserved it. He shouldn't have grabbed your coin purse. You roll the dice, it lands on a 2, and you don't meet the check. The easy option is to reload, but your character wouldn't get to reload. How would they react to this situation? Would they go to jail peacefully and maybe break out later? Kill the guard to cover up the crime? Use a spell to wipe the guard's memory? Let your character struggle because it adds to their story. It will force you to think outside the box. Just because the dice say you don't meet a check doesn't mean you've made a mistake. It doesn't mean you are playing poorly or the game is not going well. It is simply telling you that you need to adjust to the story developing before you. Combat. Oh boy, this is a tough one. The part of the game where our competitive sides really shine and our egos may get a little too connected to how well we perform. What do you mean that goblin rolled a critical hit? Why did my fighter miss every attack? I took way too much damage this fight. Resist the temptation to reload. I believe you could do it. On a more serious note, combat is an extension of storytelling. What good are tales of heroes when there are no monsters to fight, no villains to thwart, and no clashes between them? Combat is there to add on to your character's story. And remember, adapting to the story is important. Yeah, maybe you did take too much damage in that fight. Take that lesson and apply it to future combats. Looks like you need to use more healing potions. Uh-oh, now you're out of healing potions. Let that tension build. Let your characters feel the pressure of being an adventurer. The only time you can truly fail combat is if your whole party dies and you get the game over screen. Then reload a save, adjust your strategy, and try again. The final main topic of this video is going to be tricky, so I'm going to do my best to keep it simple. The story you imagine for your character at the beginning of the game may not be the story that unfolds. That is not a failure. In fact, I would say it is the greatest success. You may start off wanting to be the stereotype of the knight in shining armor, but by the end, your character has proven time and time again to be a little selfish and not concerned with the well-being of others. Good, let that shine. If that's where your character story has led, don't fight it, embrace it. Baldur's Gate 3, once again, is a role-playing game. Your character has a role in this world through the decisions you make and the consequences of said decisions. You may have noticed a central theme to this video. How does your character deal with unexpected situations? These so-called failures, or skill checks, dialogue, combat, or general story, help shape their journey and what they will do to reach their goals. Without this failure, there is no growth. And without growth, there is no success. You need to let your characters fail, adjust to how the story unfolds, and deal with the consequences. It's the only way they can truly be themselves. Failure leads to success. Embrace it, and you may find the story more immersive and compelling than ever. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to drop a like. If you want to see more Baldur's Gate 3 content, make sure to click the subscribe button as well. That's it for today. I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.